The image illustrates a horizontal bar chart showing the types of clubs that people belong to in New Zealand for the year ended March 2015. It compares different club categories, including sport, religion, hobby, volunteer, professional, neighborhood, political, and others. Overall, sports clubs have the highest participation at around 28%, followed by religion and hobby clubs. In contrast, political clubs have the lowest membership, accounting for only about 2 to 3%. In conclusion, the chart highlights that sports and recreational activities are the most popular choices among people in New Zealand.
The image illustrates a dual-line graph comparing home ownership rate and unemployment rate from 1986 to 2011. The dashed blue line represents the home ownership rate, while the solid green line shows the unemployment rate. Overall, home ownership gradually declines throughout the period, whereas unemployment fluctuates, reaching a peak in the early 1990s before decreasing and rising slightly again toward the end. In conclusion, the graph highlights an inverse trend between home ownership and unemployment over the years.
The image illustrates a pie chart showing the number of households in millions that own different types of pets. It compares categories such as dogs, cats, birds, freshwater fish, horses, reptiles, saltwater fish, and small animals. Overall, dogs account for the largest share at 45%, followed by cats at 29%. Freshwater fish represent about 8%, while birds make up 6%. The remaining categories each contribute a relatively small percentage. In conclusion, the chart shows that dogs and cats are the most popular pets among households. The image illustrates the desalination process, which converts seawater into fresh water through several stages. First, seawater enters the pretreatment system, where large particles and impurities are removed. Next, the water passes through the filtration and purification units to separate salt and other contaminants. Finally, the treated water is collected as clean fresh water, while waste materials are discharged separately. Overall, the process highlights an effective method of producing safe drinking water from seawater.
The image illustrates a heat map comparing carbon footprint and carbon emissions in Canada from 2010 to 2020. It presents two indicators, carbon footprint and emissions, measured in million tons. Overall, both values show a gradual upward trend over the years. The carbon footprint increases from about 500 million tons in 2010 to 600 million tons in 2020, while emissions rise from around 300 to 350 million tons. In conclusion, the image indicates a steady increase in both carbon footprint and emissions during the given period.
The image presents a map of Asia showing different agricultural activities across various countries. Different colors represent different types of farming, such as rice cultivation, tea plantation, livestock farming, aquaculture, and horticulture. Major countries including China, India, Mongolia, and Turkey are highlighted with different agricultural patterns. Overall, the map indicates that agricultural activities vary significantly across regions depending on geography and climate.
The image illustrates the water cycle, also known as the hydrological cycle. The process begins with evaporation from oceans, lakes, and rivers due to the sun's heat. The water vaporizes, cools, and forms clouds through condensation. Next, precipitation falls as rain or snow, and the water flows through rivers, lakes, and groundwater before returning to the sea. Overall, the process demonstrates the continuous circulation of water in nature and its importance for maintaining the Earth's water supply.
The image illustrates a combination chart comparing oil reserves and gas production across 5 countries. The blue bars represent oil reserves, while the black line indicates gas production. Overall, the United States has the highest oil reserves at around 500 million barrels, followed by Saudi Arabia and Canada. Russia records moderate reserves, while Iran has relatively lower reserves. Gas production peaks in the United States, drops sharply in Iran, and rises again in Canada. In conclusion, the chart highlights noticeable differences in both oil reserves and gas production among the selected countries.
The line graph illustrates monthly website traffic from January to June. Overall, the trend is upward despite a slight decline in April. Website visitors increased from about 25,000 in January to 40,000 in March, then dropped slightly to 36,000 in April. After that, traffic rose significantly to 48,000 in May and reached the highest point of 55,000 in June. In conclusion, the graph shows steady growth in website traffic over the 6-month period.
The image illustrates a beautiful public park on a bright sunny day. In the foreground, an elderly man is sitting on a bench reading a newspaper, while a young couple is walking along the pathway. On the right side, people are enjoying a swan-shaped paddle boat on the lake, and a gazebo is surrounded by lush green trees and colorful flowers. Several visitors can also be seen walking and relaxing throughout the park. Overall, the image presents a peaceful, clean, and pleasant environment that reflects leisure, recreation, and natural beauty.